Attention, please.
It's the Daily Dose.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Dose with
Dr. Ken
and Dr. Ten. And today we're here with some of my friends from the Chi. Yes, we are in the Chi. And I want to give them a proper introduction because these ladies are movers and shakers. First, we have my girl Tiffany and Gina and Daphne. And they're just going to tell you a little bit about what they do here in Chicago.
Hey ladies, I am Tiffany McDuffie, the founder of She Plays, an organization dedicated to helping women celebrate and elevate themselves.
All right.
Hey everyone, I am Gina. I am a administrative assistant and I work for Chicago Public Schools. E-learning in effect.
All right.
Teach your kids at home.
Hello, everybody. My name is Daphne Williams. I am the CEO of Smarty Pants Early Learning Center. We are an award-winning daycare center located in the Bronzeville neighborhood of Chicago.
All right. Okay, y'all. So today we're going to talk about when to exit a relationship. When is it too late? Is it too early? Are those even a real thing? What if one person wants to stay in, the other one wants out? How do you know it's time to get a divorce? Have you waited too long to get one? What about before you even get to marriage? How do you know when to say, listen, I'm not supposed to be with this person long term. I'm throwing deuces. When do we make that decision? I think in general, most of us are fed a fairy tale. And when we get that fairy tale, within that fairy tale, we're never told when to get out of a relationship, when it's best to leave. We're only told, stay, stay, stay. You have a house, you have
or who you should marry.
Right, you have all these things.
How do you exit?
Kendra,
Oh, I forgot. Go.
squeeze her, she cuts everybody.
Go.
So on that note, we want to get into we're going to just ask these ladies some questions about when is it time to go? When's it time to go?
To the left, to the left, to the left.
Daphne, so you've been in relationships before, we all have. Do you feel like anyone ever kind of told you, one, like this is what a healthy relationship looks like, so this is when you stay, versus these are some signs where you need to be thinking twice and it's time to chill?
No. So, my mother was married 4 times and divorced 4 times.
Okay.
So, I learned, like, if it ain't working for you, deuces.
Okay.
So, that wasn't, a healthy example for me. So, like, my last relationship, I knew that when I got off work and I saw his car outside and I wanted to go to Target or the grocery store or any place before going home, I knew that was when I needed to leave it. Like, I would get irritated when I would, get off work and I'm pull up to the house and I'm like, damn, he here?
There.
Okay, well, I'm about to find me something to do. Laundromat, I ain't got no clothes in the car. I don't know. I'm about to go.
Versus rushing home because I got my food there.
Yeah. And that's a good feeling.
So you know what? I had a friend of mine who said she knew it was time to leave her marriage when she went to get a card from him. It was some holiday, Father's Day, birthday, whatever it was, and none of the cards fit her relationship. So I want to ask Tiffany, what do you think about that? Like, is that kind of a wake-up call when you're like,
I think so. I think that is very telling. I felt that way about Mother's Day cards for people who were supposed to be maternal in my life and they weren't. And I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
So I think it's very telling about any relationship, not just the romantic relationship. But for me, when a relationship drains you more than it energizes you, when you are dissolving yourself into your title instead of being who you are authentically are.
Dissolving yourself into your title.
I'm married. I'm married now. Like, no. Like, you have the right to be yourself before you are a wife, before you are a mom. Like, the titles and to-dos thing. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy to make a decision because once you decide to get married, you're like, this is where I want to be.
Right.
But when you see those things going left, you have to be bold enough to step into who you are, to say, like, this is no longer working for me. And my number one piece of advice would be, like, if it's draining you more than it's energizing you, it's time to reconsider some things. And not necessarily just leave, but address those things because if they love you, really love you, they'll work to fix it.
do you think that a lot of those things are noticeable before you even got married? Do you think that a lot of times what we do is, and Gina, I don't know, you shaking your head, maybe you can answer this one, but do you think that you see these little signs, but you're like, nah, I'll be all right. No, I'll change them.
Right.
Like,
I like it. It's cute.
You see little things in the beginning, but you start to say, okay, maybe it's not that bad. But my thing now, in my older age, is something I can deal with. If it's something I can't deal with, I'm not. I'm not. We put time in relationships.
Right.
Time waits for nobody. And once that time is gone, you let all these years,
Right.
weeks, and months pass. You could have been on to something else
Yeah.
and found your true person.
It's the thing. I think, like Regina said, time is the one thing we can't get back. None of us can make more time, right? We can make more kids, we can make new mates, we can make new relationships. We can't get more time. So that time is really a thing. And I grew up the opposite of Daphne. You know, my mom was like, stay. As a strong black woman, your strength is being able to endure all the things. And sometimes you just got to be like, no, my strength isn't leaving. My strength is in the ability to walk away.
But how do you know when you're giving up too soon? When you should fight, when you should stay, when you should go to
I think that's
counseling.
a battle in itself.
You know what I mean? Like, how do you know that I should stay and fight for this? Or, you know what? I'm, 35 years old and, I'm still young enough to start over. So how do you know when to stay, put in the time,
There's a lot of
effort?
factors, I think.
Absolutely.
I think the battle, when you say win the battle, when you fight for your relationship, you're fighting for your relationship when you see that person fighting for you too.
Facts.
So if that person is not fighting for you, that's when you say, okay, it's time for me to go.
That's true.
It's the real thing. I think that we have to recognize our why, right? Like, and to know that, like, did we just get married because that's what we were taught to do from the time we were 5 and 6 and 7? Like, was this the thing that we
fairy tale.
imagined? Absolutely. Or is it, is this, are you able to be you in the midst of your relationship? You should be able to be you and do the things that you love in the midst of motherhood, in the midst of career, in the midst of relationship. And when that starts to dissipate and you find yourself smothering who you are, that's the time to reconsider. You do fight for it. We are not runners. Like, we are strong black women, so we're going to fight for it. We're going to do all the things. But like Gina said, it has to be reciprocal. It has to be two-way. It cannot be a one-way street. It cannot be like we're chasing.
Well, what if you feel like, Daphne, I'm listening. What if you feel like you're ready to fight, or maybe he wants to fight and you don't? How do you get out of that relationship? Like, or do you second guess yourself and say, wait a minute, he's fighting. He's fighting this, and I'm not feeling it. But what do I still go with him down that road, or do I just stick my guns?
You already liked. So at that point, that's when you have to have that pros and cons list, where you have to have that serious talk with yourself and put some concrete things on paper. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, because of the type of women that we all are, we bring our bag. We bring a lot to the table. We were trained, like, by our grandparents and everything, that basically the man pays the bills and the woman takes care of the house. Well, that's not it anymore. You know what I'm saying? I hate to say it, but, like, I make more than my man. So it has to be that balance. And I can't lose myself. I can't bring the bag, take care of the kids, do e-learning, clean the house, change the sheets. I can't do all of
Still
that.
look good.
And still look good. And for me, my anxiety tells me, like, if I'm irritated when I see your name pop on my phone, and I gotta do all this other stuff during the day.
Irritated a lot.
No, I'm just saying. Y'all asked me.
She going to the laundry.
So, right, I'm sitting outside the damn laundry bag with no laundry. Okay, it's time to switch up the game a little bit. But I mean, like, that's for real. Like, where's your peace? You gotta have peace in some way, and if your peace is what's at stake, then you gotta make some changes.
I had a cousin that told me similarly to that you leave when you can't take it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, that's when you go. When you just can't take it no more, like, that's when it's time to go. It don't matter if they're fighting, it don't matter if you feel a certain kind of way, it don't matter if everybody's pressuring you to stay. If you can't take it no more, whatever your it is, it's time to go.
Because if you stay after your it, then at that point it's wasting time. At that point it's self-destructive. At that point.
At that point, it is self-sacrifice instead of self-edification and self-upliftment, And so whenever you feel like you are just operating in what they told you should be and what the expectation is, then that's when you should choose you. And it's hard to choose you, right? Because women are nurturers. So we're like, we're supposed to choose our mates. We're supposed
Yeah.
And if they're fighting and we're not, like, there's all this guilt that we really have to rid ourselves of. You know, as a Christian woman, it's just like, oh my gosh, is God going to forgive me? Oh my gosh, am I going to be a statistic? Oh my God, am I
Breaking
going
up
to
the
break up?
family.
Absolutely. There's so much guilt, but at the end of the day, your children are going to grow up and do their thing.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
if you get lifestyle diseases from all this stress and cancer, that
Lifestyle.
people remarry like that. People remarry people's best friends. You're like,
Rebound.
oh,
Yes.
so, I mean, it's a thing. So you have to learn how to choose you and to feel good about it. Like set a boundary and communicate. And that one of my favorite quotes. I'm all about kids stuff. So Dr. Seuss is like, those that mind don't matter, and those that matter don't mind.
That's
So when you
I love
choose
it.
yourself, like
Yeah.
the man who you're supposed to be with, the parental relationship you're supposed to keep tight with, like they're going to uplift that because they're going to appreciate. Like we're meant to evolve. We're not meant to revolve.
Oh, sis, we are not into
Yes.
revolving.
yes.
We are evolving.
That's true. Tip. Tell them. Tell them.
And on that note,
That's a
ladies,
word.
thank you for your experiences. Thank you for this fellowship. So it looks like that we are on the path of evolving instead of revolving. Remember? So on that note, ladies, until next time.
Doses. Okay.
Attention, please. It's the Daily Dose.
All right. Y'all ready? Let's go. All right.
Hey, hey, so